My name is David Miller, 37 years old, born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Work often pulled me out of the city, and this particular week I was supposed to be gone for at least 7 days. Yet halfway through the trip, something inside me stirred with restlessness. I missed the familiarity of home, the warmth of routine, and more than anything, I wanted to surprise my wife, Emily. We had been married only a few months, and though we faced our share of disagreements, I believed small gestures could help us find our rhythm. More than her, however, there was another reason I felt the urge to return. My mother, Margaret, she had been blind for years, and age had slowed her steps, but to me, she was still the strongest, gentlest soul alive. She had raised me alone after my father abandoned us, and every milestone I had ever reached was rooted in her sacrifices. To see her smile was to be reminded of my own compass in life. That evening, as I pulled into the driveway, the sky loomed heavy with rain clouds. Droplets pelted the windshield, striking like a drumbeat, and the wipers worked hard to keep my vision clear. Yet even through the rain-streaked glass, I felt unease. My home, which usually glowed with lights at this hour, was dark and strangely cold. Shutting off the engine, I stepped out into the storm, rain soaking through my jacket within seconds. Pulling my collar higher, I hurried toward the porch, but froze when I thought I heard something. A faint, strained sound. At first, I dismissed it as the storm's trickery, but then the noise grew clearer. Fragile sobs, carried on the wind, so achingly familiar that my heart clenched. My pulse quickened as I followed the sound around the back garden. There, beneath the dim glow of the porch light, a figure huddled against the wall. My breath caught. It was my mother. She sat on the cold, wet bricks, drenched to the bone, her thin sweater plastered to her frail body like paper. Her hair clung to her face, and her sightless eyes blinked against the relentless rain, as though searching for help she could not see. Her cane lay discarded a few feet away, half submerged in a puddle. The sight pierced me like a blade. For a moment, my world tilted. My mother, the woman who had sacrificed everything for me, abandoned under a merciless storm. "Mom!" I cried, stumbling forward. Dropping to my knees, I gathered her shivering body in my arms. She gasped in fright at first, but when she recognized my voice, her lips quivered into sobs. "David, is that you?" she whispered. "Yes, Mom, it's me. I'm here now," I choked, my own tears mixing with the rain. She clung to my shirt desperately, her fingers trembling against my chest, as though needing to confirm I was real. She was freezing cold, her body trembling violently. My mind flooded with questions. How long had she been out here, and who could have done this? But even before the thought fully formed, I already knew the answer, and fury, raw and uncontainable, began to burn within me. Clutching my mother to my chest, I staggered toward the back door, each step weighed down with disbelief. The rain hammered against my back, but the storm inside me raged even louder. Emily was supposed to be inside, safe and warm, completely unaware that I had returned early. She thought she had days of freedom, time to live without my watchful eyes, but fate had other plans. As I pushed open the door, warmth spilled into the night. The sharp contrast made my chest ache. The interior of my home was cozy, dim lights glowing, carpets perfectly dry. The faint scent of Emily's perfume lingering in the air. Inside was comfort, safety, and warmth. Outside, where I had just found my mother, there was only cold, cruelty, and merciless rain. The division felt like two worlds colliding. I laid my mother gently on the couch, wrapping a thick throw blanket around her trembling frame. Her lips quivered as she coughed, her hands still clinging tightly to my wrist, afraid I might vanish again. "Mom," I whispered hoarsely, kneeling beside her. "What happened? Why were you out there?" Her sightless eyes turned toward my voice, but silence lingered heavy between us. She opened her mouth, only to collapse into sobs, unable to form words. I brushed back her damp hair, torn between rage and heartbreak. It was in that moment that I realized something dreadful, something I had never wanted to believe. Emily, the woman I had sworn vows to only months ago, was behind this. I had seen flickers of her impatience before, small signs of irritation when my mother struggled with her blindness. But I had ignored them, blinded myself with hope that love could soften her sharp edges. Tonight proved I had been wrong. Terribly wrong. My mother's sobs racked her fragile body, and I pulled the blanket tighter around her, whispering soothing words until her breathing softened into shallow tremors. My hand lingered over hers, steadying her, while inside me the storm only grew, fiercer. Emily thought she was hidden behind closed doors, safe from discovery. She had no idea fate had dragged me home earlier than planned. I rose slowly, glancing toward the hallway. The faint glow of a bedroom lamp spilled out beneath the door. Emily was in there, no doubt comfortable and dry, completely unaware that her darkest act had been uncovered. My jaw tightened until it ached. But before confronting her, I needed the truth from my mother. I returned to her side, my voice gentle, yet desperate. "Mum, please, tell me what happened. How long were you out there?" She hesitated, lips trembling, her throat constricting as though the weight of the truth was too much to release. Her silence screamed louder than words. I pressed carefully, though fury throbbed in every heartbeat. "Was it Emily?" My voice cracked, the question almost tearing itself from me. My mother's head bowed, her sobs deepening. She didn't speak, but she didn't need to. The silence itself was confirmation. My chest heaved as realization struck like lightning. My wife, my own wife, had cast my blind mother into the storm like she was nothing. I sat back on my heels, staring at my trembling mother as rage coiled inside me, sharp and merciless. My wife, the woman I had trusted with my heart and home, had deliberately left my blind mother outside in a storm. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't negligence. It was cruelty, sharpened into choice. My voice shook as I asked, "How long were you out there, Mum?" Her lips trembled before she whispered, "I don't know. Hours, maybe." The rain started after she locked the door. Her voice cracked. I begged her, David. I begged her to let me in. But she said I was a nuisance, that I was ruining her peace. Her frail shoulders shook with fresh sobs. She pushed me out like I was nothing. Hearing her say it was like being stabbed again and again. I gripped her hand tightly, fighting to steady my voice. "You are not nothing, Mom. You are my everything." Tears welled in her pale eyes, slipping down her cheeks. My mind flooded with memories. Her sacrifices, her endless nights working double shifts, the times she skipped meals so I could eat. Every part of me was built on her selflessness. And now Emily had dared to humiliate her, to throw her into the storm like garbage. My fists clenched as I stood, my heart pounding. From the hallway, footsteps echoed. Light, casual, unaware. Emily's shadow stretched across the floor before she appeared, her hair tied back, phone in hand, a faint smile curving her lips. She froze when she saw me. "David!" Her voice rose with surprise. "You're home?" The innocence in her tone turned. My stomach. My mother sat shivering on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, damp hair plastered to her face. Emily's eyes flicked toward her but shifted away too quickly, like someone caught in their own lie. "I thought you were gone all week," she stammered. "Clearly," I muttered, rising to my feet, my fists clenched. "But I guess fate wanted me back tonight." Her smile faltered. She tucked her phone into her pocket, shifting uneasily. "Well, you could have called first." I let out a bitter laugh. "Called? So you'd have time to hide what you just did? So you could pretend my mother isn't soaking wet and freezing because you threw her outside?" Emily's lips parted, but no words came. She glanced at my mother again, then back at me, searching for excuses that wouldn't come. "David, that's not... Don't!" My voice cut through hers like a blade. Don't you dare spin lies. My mother's frail hand squeezed mine, as if begging me to hold back, but fury boiled through me. Emily fidgeted, her polished mask cracking under the weight of exposure. You don't understand, she snapped, her tone suddenly sharp, defensive. Your mother makes everything difficult. She complains, she demands, she drains me every day. I need space, David. I can't live under her shadow forever. My jaw tightened. She's blind, Emily. Blind. And you tossed her into a storm because you were inconvenienced. She's ruining us, Emily burst out, her voice breaking. Our marriage, our future. I married you, not her. Her words struck, but not as she hoped. They only hardened my resolve. For a moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the storm rattling against the windows. My mother's shallow breaths echoed like fragile threads, while Emily stood in the doorway, chest heaving, her face pale but defiant. Her words still hung in the air, poisoned and heavy. I married you, not her. I took a slow step toward her, my voice low but trembling with fury. You knew who I was when you said your vows. You knew my mother was part of my life. She raised me. She sacrificed everything. Without her, I wouldn't be standing here today. And yet you thought she was disposable. Emily crossed her arms, her jaw set. Don't twist this, David. I've put up with her since the day we married. Her constant needs, her dependence. It's suffocating. Every time I turn around, she's there. I can't breathe in this house without her shadow falling over me. I deserve peace. I deserve a life that isn't dictated by your mother's blindness. Her words sliced into me like knives. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from the sheer effort of holding myself back. I looked at my mother, frail, wet, trembling, and then back at the woman who had sworn to love me, through better or worse. The contrast between them burned like fire in my chest. You think love is easy? I shot back, my voice rising. You think marriage is just comfort and convenience? You vowed to share my life, all of it. My joys, my burdens, my blood. And yet here you are, tossing aside the very woman who gave me life. Emily's eyes narrowed, her mask slipping further. You're blind too, David. You don't see how she manipulates you. Always reminding you of her sacrifices, making you feel guilty if you choose your own happiness. You're not her son anymore. You're her slave. And I won't live like this. Her words struck, but instead of shaking me, they ignited something deeper. For the first time, I saw Emily not as the woman I thought I loved, but as a stranger, cold, selfish, incapable of understanding what family truly meant. I exhaled, slowly, my rage solidifying into clarity. You're right about one thing, Emily, I said, my tone sharp, unyielding. I am blind. Blind forever believing you had a heart. Her lips trembled, a flicker of something, fear perhaps, breaking through her defiance. She opened her mouth to reply, but I cut her off with a gesture, my hand raised like a final verdict. This marriage, whatever you thought it was, it ends tonight. You don't get to hurt her. You don't get to poison this home. Pack your things, Emily. When the storm clears, you're gone. Her face drained of colour. You can't mean that. I mean every word, I growled. You broke your vows the moment you left her in that storm. My mother whimpered softly from the couch, the sound like a fragile echo of my own shattered heart. But I knew then, this was the only path forward. Emily's face shifted, the cracks in her, composure widening as my words sank in. Her arms dropped to her sides, trembling, her lips parting with frantic urgency. David, please don't say that. You don't mean it. You're angry. You're not thinking straight. Her voice wavered, teetering between fear and manipulation. I stood rooted, my arms crossed tightly over my chest. I've never thought more clearly in my life. She took a hesitant step forward, her hand lifting as if to touch me, but I stepped back. The gesture stopped her cold. Her eyes flicked toward my mother, still curled beneath the blanket, frail and silent on the couch. Resentment flashed in her gaze before she quickly smothered it with feigned sorrow. "She's poisoning you against me," Emily whispered harshly, her voice sharp now. "You can't see it, but I can. She doesn't want us to be happy. She never did. She's clinging to you because she's afraid of being alone. And you," she jabbed her finger toward me, "you let her control everything. What about us? What about the life we were supposed to build?" Her words fell flat against the weight of the night. I stared at her, seeing through every mask, every desperate performance. "A life built on cruelty is no life at all," I said coldly. "If our happiness requires abandoning the very woman who raised me, then it was never real to begin with." Tears welled in Emily's eyes. She pressed her palms together, her voice softening into a pitiful plea. "I was wrong, David. I lost control. I didn't mean to hurt her. I just felt trapped, overwhelmed. Please don't throw everything away. I love you. We can fix this." Her words might have swayed me once, but now, looking into her eyes, all I saw was self-preservation, not remorse. She wasn't sorry for what she had done. She was sorry she had been caught. Behind me, my mother stirred, her voice a faint whisper. "David, don't hate her. Don't let this destroy you." Her blind eyes glistened with tears. Even after such cruelty, her heart clung to forgiveness. I knelt beside her, brushing damp hair from her forehead. "Mum, you don't need to protect her. You've suffered enough." Emily dropped to her knees across from us, desperation spilling from her every movement. "Please, Mrs. Collins," she begged, her voice cracking. "Tell him to forgive me. Tell him I didn't mean it." My mother turned her face away, unable to respond. The silence that followed was heavier than any words. I rose slowly, my decision carved in stone. "Emily, listen carefully. Tonight showed me who you truly are. I won't let you hurt her again. I won't let you poison this home any longer. Pack your things." She stared at me, her body trembling, tears streaking her face. "If I leave, if you do this, you'll regret it. You'll regret choosing her over me." I leaned forward, my voice like steel. "She chose me long before you ever knew my name. And unlike you, she never abandoned me." The storm outside roared louder, as though the world itself was sealing my words with thunder. Emily's tears slowed, drying into something harder. Her trembling shoulders straightened, her pleading eyes narrowing into a sharp glare. The fragile, desperate wife vanished, replaced by someone colder, someone I hardly recognized. "So that's it?" she whispered, her voice low but edged, with venom. "After everything, you're choosing her over me?" I exhaled, steady but unyielding. There was never a choice. My mother is my blood, my foundation, and you threw her into the storm without a second thought. Her lips curled into a bitter smile. "You think you're righteous, don't you? The noble son, the perfect protector. But tell me, David, what happens when she's gone? When your blind, helpless mother isn't here to bind you? Who will you have then? Me? Or no one?" The words were cruel, designed to cut deep, but they only solidified the wall between us. "If being with you means betraying her, I'd rather have no one." Her eyes darkened, a flicker of something dangerous flashing through them. "Careful," she hissed. "Don't think I'll walk away quietly. You don't just cast me out like trash. If you push me out, I'll make sure you regret it. Both of you." I stepped closer, towering over her, my fists clenched though I kept my voice controlled. "Is that a threat?" She didn't flinch. "Call it a promise. You have no idea what I'm capable of." The storm rattled the windows, lightning flashing across the room, briefly illuminating her face, twisted with rage and bitterness. My mother stirred behind me, her frail hand clutching the blanket tighter, her voice trembling. "David, don't fight her. Please, it's not worth it." But I couldn't ignore the venom dripping from Emily's words. This wasn't just resentment anymore. It was danger. She wasn't begging to stay. She was warning me of the chaos she would unleash if I dared to let her go. I forced my voice to stay calm. Emily, listen carefully. Whatever game you think, you're playing ends tonight. You will not threaten my mother. You will not harm her. Because if you do, I leaned in, my words sharp as glass. You'll see a side of me you never imagined. Her breath quickened, her pupils narrowing. For a moment, I thought fear might break through her mask, but instead, she smirked. A hollow, chilling smirk that sent a shiver down my spine. You're already too late, she muttered under her breath. The words struck like ice water. I froze, staring at her, trying to decipher the meaning. My mother's grip tightened on my arm, sensing the shift. In the air. What did you say? I demanded, my voice low and dangerous. Emily only shook her head, her smirk lingering. You'll find out soon enough. The storm outside wailed louder, as though echoing the unease coiling through the house. The air between us thickened, heavy with something darker than the storm raging outside. Emily's smirk lingered, brittle and unsettling, as if she held a secret that gnawed at the edges of my sanity. My heart pounded against my ribs, not out of fear for myself, but for the fragile woman trembling behind me. Emily, I said slowly, measuring every syllable, what did you do? Her gaze flickered, sharp and restless, like lightning trapped in a bottle. Don't act like you've got all the control here, David. You think you can throw me out, humiliate me, and nothing will come of it? You think she'll be safe with you watching over her every second? You can't protect her forever. One slip, just one, and she's gone. My blood froze, fury and dread colliding inside me. I lunged forward, grabbing her wrist in a grip I didn't know I had. Her eyes widened, but she didn't resist. She only laughed, a hollow, broken laugh that echoed through the room. You hear yourself, she mocked. Look at you, righteous. David, the dutiful son, reduced to threats and violence. She's turned you into this. She's poisoned you and you don't even see it. I tightened my grip for a heartbeat before forcing myself to let go. Violence was what she wanted, to drag me into the same darkness consuming her. I stepped back, shaking with the effort to hold myself steady. Get out, I said, my voice hard as stone. Before you cross a line you can't come back from. But Emily only straightened her back, her defiance blazing. No, I won't leave, not like this. You think you're throwing me away? No, David. You don't get to decide when this ends. I do. Behind me, my mother's frail voice cracked through the tension. Stop this, both of you, she pleaded, tears streaking her sightless face. Emily, my son has given you love, a home, a chance. Don't destroy it with hate. And David, her voice trembled as she turned toward me. Don't let anger consume you. Don't become like her. Her words cut deeper than Emily's venom ever could. I swallowed hard, my chest tightening with the weight of them. But Emily's rage only burned hotter. She whirled toward my mother, her voice sharp as broken glass. Don't talk to me about love. You've stolen everything from me. My marriage, my future, my peace. You... She pointed a shaking finger, her whole body trembling with bitterness. You've ruined my life. That was the final crack, the moment her mask shattered completely. Whatever restraint she had left dissolved, leaving only raw hatred. I stepped between her and my mother, my body a barrier, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. You will not speak to her that way. Not now. Not ever again. The thunder outside roared like an answer, shaking the house. Emily's chest rose and fell in rapid bursts, her eyes wild, her face pale but burning with fury. For the first time I realized this wasn't just about pride or resentment. This was war. The house seemed to pulse with the storm's fury, every thunderclap rattling the walls like a warning of what was about to break. Emily stood before me, her face a mask of rage and despair, her body quivering as if torn between begging and attacking. My mother's soft sobs behind me were the only tether keeping me grounded. "This ends tonight," I said, my voice steady, louder than the storm. "Whatever we once had, Emily, it's over. You've shown me who you are, and I can't unsee it. You're not the woman I thought I married. You're a stranger, someone capable of cruelty I can never forgive." Her lips trembled, a flicker of desperation breaking through the fire in her eyes. "You're throwing away your wife for her," she spat, pointing toward the couch. "A blind old woman who's only holding you back. She'll die, David. And when she does, you'll be left with nothing. Nothing." Her words struck like daggers, but I stood firm. Better nothing than a life poisoned by hate. For a long moment, silence hung heavy, broken only by the storm's howl. Then, with a sudden cry, Emily lunged forward, her hands reaching for my mother. Instinct surged through me. I caught her by the shoulders, shoving her back with a force that sent her stumbling into the wall. "Don't you dare touch her!" I roared, my voice raw with fury. Emily froze, staring at me with wide, wild eyes. Her chest heaved, her rage collapsing into something hollow and broken. She slid down the wall, sobbing into her hands, her defiance finally crumbling. I turned, away from her, kneeling beside my mother. She clutched my arm, her blind eyes wet with tears. "David, don't hate her," she whispered weakly. "Let her go, but don't let her take your heart with her." I swallowed hard, my anger giving way to exhaustion. My mother had always been stronger than me, strong enough to forgive, even when forgiveness was undeserved. Rising to my feet, I looked at Emily one last time. "Leave. Tonight. Take whatever you want. But when the sun rises, you're gone. If you ever come near her again," my voice dropped, cold as stone, "you'll regret it." She lifted her tear-streaked face, eyes hollow, lips trembling with words she couldn't form. For once, she had no answer. She rose unsteadily, gathering her coat with shaking hands, and disappeared into the storm outside. The door slammed shut, and the house fell into silence. Only the rain remained, tapping against the windows like fading echoes of war. I sat beside my mother again, wrapping my arm around her frail shoulders. She leaned into me, her head resting against my chest. Her voice barely audible. "It's over, David, the storm has passed." I held her close, listening to the thunder drift into the distance, the air inside finally still. Though shadows lingered, though scars would remain, I knew one truth above all. No storm, no betrayal, no hatred could ever sever the bond between a mother and her son. And as the night gave way to the first fragile light of dawn, I felt hope return, flickering quietly in the ashes of what had been lost.